Most restaurant websites look like they were built in 2009, slow, clunky, and impossible to use on mobile. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a modern, fully responsive restaurant website from scratch using only Semantic HTML and CSS. No JavaScript frameworks, no Tailwind, no Bootstrap. We're talking smooth scrolling, a Bento-grid menu gallery, container queries for responsive design, and a working reservation form. By the end, you'll have a site you can actually hand off to a client or deploy today. Let's get into it. This section 1 introduces the project and ensures your development environment is ready. Our goal is to create a production-ready restaurant site that looks stunning on any screen size using CSS Container Queries instead of traditional media queries. The code we'll write in this tutorial will produce 1. A modern tech stack of pure Semantic HTML5 for SEO and accessibility. 2. A modern CSS layout with a Bento-style menu gallery using CSS Grid. 3. Functional features such as a smooth scrolling navigation and a working reservation form powered by Formspree. 4. Design aesthetic of a glass morphism, feel with fluid typography using Clamp, and a warm, food-focused color palette. To achieve the above, you will need the following essential tools. A. Visual Studio Code or Sublime Text installed on your device. B. The live server extension for real-time browser previews is used with the Visual Studio Code editor. C. A Formspree account for handling the reservation form. This section defines the structural backbone of our site. Instead of using generic div tags, we use Semantic HTML5 landmarks. This is essential because it tells search engines and screen readers exactly what each part of your page represents, boosting your SEO and accessibility. The code we'll write here will produce a logical landmark of a clear division between the navigation, header, the main content, main, and the footer, and an accessibility foundation for proper language settings and viewport meta tags to ensure the site looks correct on mobile devices right out of the box. Open the downloaded code snippets file. See the link in the description to download the file and use the codes throughout this tutorial. In the file, copy and paste the HTML skeleton into the body tag of index.html, replacing the existing body content. The starter code, HTML structure. Copy and paste this into your index.html. This sets up the essential metadata and links your Google fonts and style sheet. The design system, CSS variables. Also, copy this into your style.css. We are using CSS custom properties, variables, to maintain a consistent design system for colors, spacing, and typography. The hero section is the first thing guests see. We want to make a bold statement with a full screen background and a clear call to action, CTA, that encourages users to book a table immediately. The HTML and CSS code wheel, right here, shall produce the following effects. A. Immersive visuals, a high-quality background image that covers the entire screen using object-fit cover. B. Direct interaction using call-to-action buttons, a prominent Reserve a Table button that smoothly scrolls the user down to the reservation form. C. Polished entrance effect, a subtle CSS animation that fades and slides the text upward when the page loads. Copy and paste this HTML code inside the section ID equals home landmark we created in section 2. Also, add the CSS code to your style.css file, noting the use of clamp for fluid typography that scales perfectly without media queries. In this section, we build a navigation bar that stays pinned to the top of the screen. Instead of using complex JavaScript or the old checkbox hack, we're using the modern CSS popover API and the details/summary elements to create a functional mobile menu. The HTML and CSS codes help us produce an NAV bar that stays at the top of the viewport using position. Sticky, a Zero.js hamburger menu that uses the popover attribute to toggle the mobile menu, and details for clean, accessible drop-down links, and a clean desktop navigation layout that hides on small screens with a dedicated mobile overlay. Copy and paste the following HTML and CSS code. Add the HTML code inside the header tag we created in section 2, replacing the previous one. Add the CSS code to the style.css file. The Bento-grid is a modern layout style that organizes content into chunky editorial cards of varying sizes. We will use CSS Grid to create a 7-item gallery featuring your Nigerian specialties. The HTML and CSS code shall create 1. Bento layout, a visually interesting grid where some items, like the jollof rice, take up more space than others. 2. Container queries. This will allow the cards to automatically restack based on the size of their container, not the whole screen. 3. Interactive hover effects that will lift cards slightly when hovered to give a premium feel. Copy and paste the HTML code under the hero section within the main tag and the CSS code into the style.css file. This section moves away from the sales pitch of the menu and tells the story of Graceland Homes. We'll use a 2-column layout that intelligently stacks when space gets tight, thanks to container queries. The code will produce an adaptive layout, a side-by-side view, text on the left, image on the right, that automatically switches to a vertical stack on smaller screens. B. Editorial styling. A decorative pull quote using the CSS before pseudo-element for a professional, magazine-like feel, and C. Brand narrative, a space to highlight the restaurant's philosophy and its roots in authentic Nigerian flavors. So, add the HTML code into the main tag of index.html just after the menu section and add the styles in style.css. Clarity is key for restaurant visitors. We will use a semantic HTML table to display the hours, ensuring the data is organized and accessible for screen readers. The code will build a clean, readable table that aligns days and times perfectly. B. Tabular alignment. We use the font variant numeric, tabular num's CSS property to ensure numbers like 10 o'clock and 2100 hours align vertically for better readability. C. Hover highlights. Use subtle row highlighting to help users track their eyes across the table. Now, copy and paste the following HTML inside the main tag under the About section of the index.html file and the CSS into the style.css file. In Section 8, we create a functional reservation form for Graceland Homes. We will use Formspree, which allows you to receive form submissions directly in your email without writing any backend code. We will also use HTML5 validation to ensure users provide the correct information before hitting submit. The HTML and CSS codes will create the following. 1. A form that actually works using the Formspree endpoint. 2. A custom-styled form fields with focus effects for a premium field. 3. Proper use of a label and ARIA label to ensure the form is usable for everyone. Copy and paste this HTML code under the Hours section inside the main tag. If you do not have a Formspree account, create one and replace your underscore endpoint in the Forms action attribute with your actual Formspree ID. Add the CSS to style the form appropriately. The final section provides the essential where and how for your customers. We use the semantic address element for the restaurant's details and an embedded map for easy navigation. The codes will produce a semantic contact that uses the address tag, which is the standard for contact information. 2. Interactive maps to build responsive Google Maps embed that lets users see exactly where Graceland Homes is located. 3. Quick actions using tap to call and tap to email links that work instantly on mobile devices. Copy and paste the HTML and CSS provided to in the appropriate locations in the index.html file and style.css file respectively. The footer is the final touchpoint of the Graceland Homes experience. It reinforces the brand identity, provides easy navigation, and offers a smooth way for users to return to the top of the page. The codes you will produce: brand consistency, which restates the restaurant name and mission in a minimal, elegant layout. Social connectivity, using semantic links to your social profiles using modern layout techniques. Enhanced user experience with a back-to-top button that utilizes the scroll behavior. Smooth logic defined earlier. Here is the HTML and CSS code we use to build the footer section. Copy and paste them into the index.html and style.css files. Visit the Icon8 website and download SVG or PNG images of your preferred social icons. Then save them in the Assets folder with appropriate names. This project stands out because it uses future CSS techniques that make your code more maintainable and performant. Some of the modern CSS used in this project include 1. CSS custom properties, variables, used to store values like primary gold in the root. With variables, instead of hunting for hex codes, we can change one variable to update the whole site's theme. We can use variables for spacing and fonts at the start of every project. 2. Container queries using a container to style an element based on the size of its parent, not the whole screen. In a Bento-grid, a menu card might be small on a desktop sidebar, but large on a mobile screen. Container queries allow the card to decide its layout based on the space it is given. Use container queries for reusable components like the menu items or about sections. 3. Clamp. Used to achieve fluid typography using font size. Clamp, min, preferred, max. It replaces multiple media queries. The text grows smoothly as the screen widens, staying within a safe range. Use it for H1 headings and body text to ensure readability on all devices. 4. Focus visibility, focus visible. A pseudo-class that shows a focus ring only when needed. Mouse users don't usually want to see a box around a button after clicking it, but keyboard users need it for accessibility. Always use this feature to keep your site accessible and visually clean. Once your code is ready, it's time to take Graceland Homes from your local machine to the global web. Since we built this using pure HTML and CSS without a complex backend, we could take advantage of high-speed, free hosting. Option 1. GitHub Pages. This is best for portfolios. GitHub Pages is the industry standard for hosting static sites directly from your code repository. First, create a new repository on GitHub. Upload your base folder, which contains the index.html, style.css, images, and assets/folder. Open the repository and go to Settings. From the Settings window, enable Pages. GitHub is free and provides a professional github.io URL and automatically updates every time you push new code to the repo. Option 2. Vercels, best for performance. Vercels offers an incredibly fast global edge network, making your site load instantly for users in Nigeria or anywhere else. Connect your GitHub account to Vercels and import your desired repository from the account to the Vercels dashboard. It automatically optimizes your headers and provides an SSL certificate, HTTPS, out of the box for security. You've now built a high-performance, modern restaurant website for Graceland Homes using the absolute best practices in Frontend development. By sticking to Semantic HTML and cutting-edge CSS, you've ensured this site is fast, accessible, and ready for any device. So, in under 30 minutes, we've taken Graceland Homes from a blank text file to a production-ready restaurant website. We didn't need heavy frameworks or complex JavaScript to create smooth scrolling, a stunning Bento-grid, or a working reservation form. We just used the power of modern CSS. If you followed along, you now have a professional project for your portfolio that demonstrates you understand the future of the web. All the code snippets are available in the description below for you to download and tweak. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more pure HTML and CSS builds, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding!